Shalom, friends. This week we read from the Torah portions Tazria-Metzora. In these portions, and more generally in the book of Leviticus, the Torah often talks about distinguishing between what is clean and unclean, holy and unholy. I always wonder what exactly the Torah means when it asks us to make these distinctions. Some argue that this week's portions tell us that in order to have a better life, to live a holy life, we must distinguish and separate between events and situations in our lives, like Shabbat and the rest of the week. We must distinguish between kosher foods and foods that we are commanded to abstain from eating. And we must separate ourselves from the community and our loved ones when we are sick. The Jerusalem Talmud gives us some insight into this idea of separation and what makes it so holy. The Talmud says, Im ein dea havdalah minayin. If there is no knowledge, how can we make distinctions? In other words, we need to study and gain knowledge that allows us to acquire the wisdom needed to make those distinctions and separate what is holy and just and what is impure and unjust in the world. The laws given in Parshat Tazria-Metzora are about making ethical choices in our lives that we base in our values. Sometimes these passages make it seem like the Torah is trying to regulate or control all aspects of our lives, from the food we eat to our relationships, our clothing, and even our bodily functions and illnesses. But there is also an underlying theme of awareness and how important it is to consider how our actions impact the world around us and how they impact our mental, physical, and spiritual well-being. Our Torah portions this week might sometimes strike us as gross because they deal with illness and quarantine, or maybe they're troubling or even misogynistic in the ways that they handle women's bodies and cleanliness after giving birth. But these portions also encourage us to be people who always continue to learn. If knowledge and understanding are the key to discernment and the ability to separate when needed, then Tazria-Metzora suggests that holiness comes in part from learning, because learning leads us to be better equipped to make choices that are based in our ethics and values. On this Shabbat, may each of us revel in increased knowledge and understanding of ourselves and our values so that we might make our own distinctions to live lives full of meaning and holiness.